Now we will start the lecture. In the previous lecture, we come to know the torque equation. The torque equation at standstill or under running. First is the torque under running condition. Torque under running condition. Torque is equal to some constant K1 as E2 square R2 divided by R2 square plus Sx2 bracket square. This is the torque under running condition. In the previous lecture, we come to up to this torque derivation of the torque. Okay. Now today we will going to discuss maximum torque condition under running. Maximum torque under running condition. So for the maximum and minimum, we have to derive this equation with respect to the variable, and here variable is the slip. Slip is nothing but ns minus n upon ns is equal to slip. So as the load increases, there is a slight decrease in the speed. Therefore, we can say that the speed slip is the depend upon the load condition, or the as the load increases, the slip also increases. No doubt the change in slip is very small, or we can say that the three-phase induction motor is a nearly constant speed motor. So derivative of torque with respect to slip and keep it is equal to 0. So we get the derivative of the above equation as dt upon ds, derivative of torque with respect to slip is K1 R2 square plus Sx2 bracket square E2 square R2 minus S E2 square R2 into brackets twice Sx2 square and divided by the derivative divided by denominator square. So it is R2 square plus Sx2 bracket square and put the value is equal to 0. So this term becomes 0. Finally, we get 0 is equal to, or it is a K1 E2 square R2 is common into bracket R2 square plus Sx2 bracket square minus twice Sx2 bracket square, and this is whole in bracket square bracket is equal to 0, or we can say that R2 square minus Sx2 bracket square is equal to 0, or R2 is equal to Sx2. So this is our final relation we get when the reactance, standstill reactance multiplied by slip become equal to the rotor resistance, the torque become maximum. Therefore, the torque, maximum torque is equal to some constant K1 E2 square. If I put this condition into the equation number 1, say this is equation number 1. So after putting this relation R2 is equal to Sx2, we get E2 square upon twice X2. So this is the very important equation from which we can one can conclude 2 or 3 points regarding the torque, maximum torque, occurrence of maximum torque, and the magnitude of torque. Say we will rewrite this equation as T maximum is equal to K1 E2 square upon S, E2 upon, it is twice, okay, twice X2. Okay. So the very first is that, or we can here, the slip corresponding to maximum torque is equal to, say, S is equal to, what is that? It is equal to R2 upon X2. So R2 upon X2. This is one more relation we get. So at corresponding, or this is called as a slip at maximum torque. Okay. Now the very first point we can conclude it. Number one, that the maximum torque is independent of rotor resistance. See here, there is no rotor resistance equation. Rotor resistance parameter comes into the equation. So the maximum torque is independent of rotor resistance. It means that the amount of, or the magnitude of maximum torque is not depend upon the resistance, rotor resistance. Second point, the maximum torque is varies inversely proportional to standstill reactance. See here, this is the maximum torque is inversely proportional to standstill reactance X2. Second point, maximum torque is inversely proportional to standstill reactance. Third point, we can conclude that torque is directly proportional to, or maximum torque is directly proportional to square of EMF induced in the rotor, whereas as similar to the three-phase transformer, the secondary winding voltage is depend upon the primary voltage as per the ratio. Similarly here, the secondary voltage, standstill voltage, is again depend upon the stator voltage. So simply we can say that the maximum torque is directly proportional to square of voltage applied to the stator winding. Next point is that for obtaining maximum torque, if you keep the S is equal to 1, so for maximum torque we are keeping S is equal to 1, rotor resistance must be equal to the rotor reactance. So this is the one. Fourth number point is very important. The speed or the slip at which the maximum torque obtained is determined the relation S is equal to R2 upon X2. It means that the maximum torque will remain constant. Only the occurrence of maximum torque can be changed merely by changing the resistance R2. If it is not possible for the squirrel cage induction motor, whereas in case of slip ring induction motor, where we have a facility to change the resistance. Say for example, this is the rotor winding or rotor of the three-phase induction motor, slip ring rotor, where the rotor winding is connected over the slip rings, 3 slip rings. Now, by inserting some external resistance in the rotor circuit, balance three-phase resistance, if connect in the rotor circuit, definitely the resistance get added. So your R2 is become a variable one. Here R2 become a variable one. So the occurrence of maximum torque can be changed by inserting some external resistance in the rotor circuit, whereas the magnitude of maximum torque will remain constant. So this is the some basic important, very important points regarding the maximum torque and maximum torque condition. Okay. Now, suppose we again see this equation, torque is equal to K1 S E2 square R2 divided by R2 square plus S X2 bracket square. Now, rotor slip. What is slip? Slip is ns minus n upon ns is equal to slip. So at slip is equal to 0, slip is equal to 0. What is the torque? Definitely the torque is equal to 0. So this term becomes 0. Whereas as slip is equal to 1, slip is equal to 1, it means that it having some torque, it having some value, okay, and torque is there is some magnitude of torque. Now what is the speed at s is equal to 0? When s is equal to 0, it means that the speed is equal to synchronous speed, isn't it? So that is not possible. At synchronous speed, if the rotor attains the synchronous speed, definitely the torque exerted by the armature conductor, rotor conductor becomes 0. Okay, so torque is equal to 0. And s is equal to 1, it means that the speed is equal to 0. Speed is equal to 0. So this is the some speed conditions are there. So we can say that when s is equal to 1, it means that it is the starting. It is the starting. Okay. So at start, the torque is starting torque value is that at s is equal to 1, and when the s is equal to 0, the meaning is that the slip synchronous the rotor speed is equal to the synchronous speed and torque is equal to 0. Generally, the slip is in the range of say 0.3 to 3% to 4.4%, or it may be a 4% are there. So at small value of slip, this term become very small and negligible 0. And we can say that under such conditions, say for example here, the s is equal to 0.03 or 0.01 at a small value of slip, so at 0.01, 2% slip. So 0.02 and bracket is square, it's 0.0004 values. So this term is very small as compared to the resistance, and therefore torque we can write as K1 S is very small, E2 square R2 divided by R2 square. So this get cancelled, and as R2 is resistance of the rotor conductor will remain constant. For the squirrel cage induction motor, the bar resistance is constant. We are not able to add resistance in the rotor circuit. So we can say that at initial value of slip, torque is directly proportional. Torque is directly proportional to slip. Torque is directly proportional to slip if the voltage is constant. Whereas as slip is increasing, as the slip is increasing, so this factor is somewhat higher as compared to the resistance, and torque is inversely proportional to slip. So it means that from slip is equal to 0 to some value, torque slip relation is directly proportional, and at somewhere the slip become the speed become the torque become maximum at s is equal to R2 upon x2. So now we'll try to develop this torque slip characteristic. So torque slip characteristic, we try. So here it is a torque, and it is slip. So slip, it is increasing in this side. Slip s is equal to 0, say 0.2, 0.4, 0.6, We will expand this. So here it is 0.2, 0.4, 0.6, 0.8, and this is 1. So this is the slip in this direction, 1. So this is the value of slip. Whereas speed is increasing in this side. So speed, here the speed is equal to 0. Here it is 0.2, means 20%, 40%, 60%, or 0.6 pu, 0.8, and here slip is equal to 1, speed is equal to 1. That is, here it is the synchronous speed. So at synchronous speed, we come to know that torque as S is equal to 0, torque is equal to 0, okay, and S is equal to 1, torque is the starting torque, okay. So in this case, at a small value of slip, torque is directly proportional to slip, and at higher value of slip, torque is inversely proportional to slip. So therefore, the torque slip characteristic is, as the slip increases, torque also increases, and it become maximum somewhere. Once it become maximum, the increase in slip, that is decrease in speed, the torque get decreases, or torque get decreases. So this is the say condition. So this is the starting torque. It is the starting torque, and this is your maximum torque. So this is T maximum, maximum torque. This maximum torque become maximum at slip, value of slip S, where this slip S is equal to R2 upon X2, or when X2 Sx2 is equal to R2, the torque become maximum. So our first point of the conclusion is that the maximum torque is independent of resistance. It means that if the resistance value is more, say this is the resistance at which the torque is, the value is R2. Now the resistance of rotor is increased by some next value is R2 dash, which is equal to X2 into S. So under such condition, the torque slip characteristic will be like that. The maximum torque is as it is, whereas the curve is shifted to the maximum torque get shifted to the higher value. So this is the maximum torque occurrence. Say it is S2 dash, it is S2, here S1, and this is S2. The maximum torque, the magnitude of maximum torque is remain as it is, only the occurrence of maximum torque get shifted, and say this is resistance is R2 dash, where R2 is greater than R2 dash is greater than R. Next, we will take one more resistance which is greater than the R2 dash. It is say R2 double dash. So as the resistance get increases, the torque occurrence of the maximum torque also get increases. It will become maximum at higher value of slip, whereas the magnitude of maximum torque will remain as it is. So here the maximum occurrence of maximum torque, say S3, will be higher. And it is said that this is the starting torque. This is the starting torque, T start. So again, we come to know one more very important conclusion is that if someone want high starting torque, if someone want high starting torque, rotor resistance must be higher. So if someone, or if our requirement is to high starting torque, then the rotor resistance should be kept somewhat higher value. Now, in case of squirrel cage induction motor, in case of squirrel cage induction motor, the cage is like that. There are a number of bars are there, and they are short circuited themselves with the help of end rings. No doubt the bars are somewhat at some skewed angle. Okay, so here in the rotor circuit, we cannot add some external resistance for the starting purpose, isn't it? If you choose the copper bar of higher resistance, under running condition, continuous high resistance will give the copper losses. So higher resistance of the rotor circuit will lead to the more copper losses, and the efficiency of motor get decreases. So what would be the next method? The next is the squirrel cage. The second is the slip ring induction motor. So the slip ring induction motor serve this purpose because we want only torque, high starting torque. Once the starting torque purpose is over, the machine should be run very efficiently. So under such condition, the rotor is wound rotor is there, and in the wound rotor, rotor is similar to the armature winding of DC motor. Only the difference is that the conductor's three-phase winding is brought out, and it is connected to the three slip rings, and the now slip rings are connected with external resistance. Slip rings are connected with some external balance resistance is there, variable resistance. At the time of starting, we will put external resistance. Say the resistance of the rotor circuit is R2 plus some external resistance is there. So this is the total resistance R2 dash is there. Okay. So once the higher resistance get added, some resistance get added, the starting torque, we get the starting torque. Once the starting torque purpose is over, this resistance gradually cut out, and in the normal condition, the resistance of that is, it is get short circuited over here when we move out the our handle, variable resistance handle. So in the normal working condition, the actual resistance of the rotor winding will remain present, and it will serve the less copper losses under running condition. So this is very important one. Again, I just take this one. This is the maximum. This is the torque. Okay. At the starting, the slip value is very small. When the slip value is very small, torque is directly proportional to slip, because the torque equation T is equal to K as E2 square R2 divided by R2 square plus S X2 bracket square. As small value of slip, this term is very small, and remaining term, so R2 get cancelled, R2 square get cancelled, and the resistance of the rotor circuit will remain constant for the squirrel cage induction motor. Therefore, torque is directly proportional to slip. Once the slip value get increases, this become a dominant factor, and under such condition, the torque become inversely proportional to slip. So as the slip increases, because of the load, direct loading the condition, loading the motor, so slip, the torque start decreasing. Now at S is equal to 1, it means that at standstill condition, at rotor, at slip, Ns minus N upon Ns is equal to 1. It means that this is the at standstill, that is just at the motor at 0 speed is equal to 0, and when the speed is equal to 0, there is a starting torque. So starting torque, it is represented over here. Now our working region, the motor generally work in this region. We never come to the maximum torque condition, whereas this is our working region is there. Okay, so the slip is small, and under as the load increases, the torque is increases, and somewhere it is a maximum torque, no doubt. So we'll never reach under normal working condition a maximum torque. So this is the reason of, so motor is going to work at a small value of the slip is there. So this is called as a torque slip characteristic of three-phase induction motor. It is very important to understand the entire performance characteristic and working of three-phase induction motor. One more thing with the torque slip characteristic, we try to develop draw this one more diagram. So here we will take the different value of slip. Here the slip is equal to, say, here the speed slip is equal to 1. Okay, so here we will take the slip is equal to 1. Okay, in the black color, slip is equal to 1, and here slip is equal to 0. Okay, slip is equal to 0. So under such condition, the speed is equal to 0, and here speed is equal to synchronous speed. So here the slip is going on increasing in this direction, and in this direction speed is going to increase. So speed and slip, they are opposite to each other. Now slip become here, say 100% or 1. Here the slip is equal to, say, slip is equal to 2, and we can say that the speed is equal to 0, and here the speed is equal to slip is equal to 2, and here slip is equal to we can say that it is 2, and here the speed is opposite direction, but it is the synchronous speed. So n is equal to minus ns, and slip is equal to minus 1. Okay, so here the slip torque slip characteristic already we have drawn. So this is the torque slip characteristic. So draw in this direction. This is the normal torque slip characteristic. Here it become maximum torque. Okay, and here it is the starting torque, and it is will remain here up to this value. Okay, and under this opposite, this one similar to the torque characteristic is similar, but in the opposite direction. So this region where the slip is from 0 to 1 and speed is equal to 0, to synchronous speed, this region is called as a motoring mode. Whereas it is called as a braking mode. The region where the slip become minus and the direction of rotation is opposite, so speed is equal to synchronous speed, but it is in the opposite direction, so it is a braking mode. Whereas this mode is called as a generating mode or induction generator. Generating mode. So this is the entire region. So this is the next. This region is a generating mode, okay, and upper region is the motoring mode. So we can say that motoring mode is slip is equal to 0, is greater than the slip is less than equal to 1 is the motoring mode, and generating mode where s is smaller than 0 value. Okay, when the generating mode is there, and we can say that braking is nothing but the electric brakings are there. Motor try to run in the opposite direction, and because of opposite force, it act as a mechanical brake over the induction motor. So whenever we are using induction motor in railway traction or lift, we always use electric braking, because electric braking provide the smooth control. It does not give jerks, and it avoid the wear and tear in the rotating part. So three-phase induction motor can be work in the three region. One is the motoring region or the motoring mode. Second is the braking mode, the motoring mode, but motoring condition, but it is in the braking mode. And one is the induction generator. And our operating region is again remain as a motor. The operating region will remain here. It is in this part of this region. As the load increases, the speed of the motor get slightly decrease with increase in the slip, and torque also increases. So this is the some torque slip characteristic of three-phase induction motor. And when the rotor runs in opposite direction to the magnetic flux, under such condition, the slip is greater than 1. Okay, so slip is somewhat more than that one. So this is the three region of three-phase induction mode.